Welcome back to Florida Real Estate Profits, the show where we are doing our best to help you make money in Florida real estate. And joined again today by Guy Bouchard and Michael Bouchard. And we are doing a deep dive again on one of our local markets in Florida here. This one is Four Corners. And Guy, give us a little bit about the history and when we say Four Corners, what does that really mean?
Absolutely. But before I get started, I got to say this might be the facial hair edition. And depending on your resolution, you might not be able to see mine, but I think this is the first time all three of us have had facial hair.
I like
Um,
it.
yeah, I'm represented as good as I can. So anyway, the Four Corners. Really, when Michael was a baby, we were one of the early arrivals in the Four Corners. So I lived down there for probably about 5 years and owned investment property there for a long, long time. But yeah, when I first got out there and was selling for a developer, there was nobody there. It was the middle of nowhere. It was orange groves, but everybody knew the growth was coming that way. And when I started selling, I came out of a Daytona area and I was driving like an hour and 15, hour and a half each way to go to work. And the first week, I think I sold 6 homes and said, okay, there's a tidal wave of humanity heading this way. And we were selling a lot of vacation homeowners, mostly Brits in the time back, again, showing my age, like 30 years ago. And then we were selling tons of like Disney employees because the affordability factor, which is still in play. We'll talk about that a little bit. So it was really it was all former orange groves that most of it, there was a couple of communities. And again, to talk about the history, there was a community called Polo Park, it's an intersection of 4 counties, Polk, Orange, Lake, and Osceola. So it was a creative name for one of the few communities that was down there. And now there's communities everywhere. There's really good infrastructure now. There's hospitals, there's shopping, there's restaurants. It's very, very close to Disney. So for proximity for vacation homes, for long-term rentals, for permanent residents. So it's really matured over the last 30 years. It's mostly newer homes. Again, nothing like real old. So it's a very nice community with great access to the rest of Central Florida. And yeah, it's developed over the years as, again, a heavy vacation home community, but it actually has developed into a community of locals as well. So it's a mixed bag.
Yeah. And Michael, one of our favorite things about this area in terms of what it has versus other parts of Orlando is it's actually generally more affordable options when it comes to either long-term rentals there or if you're a residential buyer looking to move down. But also, as you mentioned, Guy, there's tons of vacation home properties in that area as well too. Michael, what else would you add on the Four Corners area?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, as far as investors go, it's a good opportunity for annual leases or short term vacation home leasing. The Jimmy, I guess I'll restart.
You're
Uh,
good.
you want to keep me up again?
Yeah, I'll key you up again. So, Michael, what else comes to mind for you when you think about that Four Corners area?
Yeah, I would say for investors, it's a good opportunity. There's short term vacation homes as well as long term. With the median price being lower than the surrounding areas, it's a good opportunity for first time home buyers. There's also tier two, is what we like to call them, vacation homes that have gotten tired and are older that can come with furniture or people are just trying to get out of. That would be a great opportunity for first time buyers. So there's just a lot of opportunity depending on what you like, what you want. There's a ton of golf in the area and a ton to do with 192 just getting bigger and more popular, every day.
That's a great point. I know we've seen that trend where a lot of the original vacation home communities that kind of were built on larger lots, had some space in between homes. Those have kind of become a little bit more outdated and have shifted more into either more primary residence or long-term rental kind of investment properties. And so it's a great opportunity, as you mentioned, Michael, to find some cash flowing opportunities there in that Four Corners area. Something else to close us out on, Guy?
Yeah, you actually hit it on the head for the permanent resident crowd, and even for long term people that want investment property that are long term rental. The community I started in where the standard lots were 80 by 125 quarter acre lots roughly. And now we're seeing a lot of stuff on 40 and 50s. And, for affordability, people are, buying towns. I mean, you're talking the majority of the new homes are on very narrow lots, which makes limitations in the floor plan. So again, affordability, if you want a little bit more yard, if you have a family, I mean, there's some communities that have really large lots compared to anything being built in the Orlando area. The only other thing I would add is on the short-term rental side, very important factor is if you're looking at an older short-term rental for short-term rental, you have to be very careful, because even if you think you're saving all this money, the reality is, the product has evolved over the last 30 years, and it seems like we can get way higher rents for these newer product, even if they are on 50-foot lots, because they're in gated communities with big amenities, with food and beverage. So it's hard for those older homes to compete with that. When I first started in the business, it was, everybody would say, if you stay on a hotel or on Disney property, you got great amenities, but you had terrible accommodations. But we had great accommodations, but terrible amenities. Well, our product over the last 30 years has evolved to the point where in Orlando, we have incredible amenities. I mean, again, I could go on and on. Lazy rivers, they have surf riders, all kinds of stuff. So be very careful about trying to save money if you're looking at short-term rental, because a lot of times you give up a lot of income and you thought you saved on the price. So that's where it helps to talk to an expert, not to plug us. But the reality is we have the history, we know what revenue is, we have software that'll show what a expectation of a home will do. So we can talk about that later.
Absolutely. But that's the beauty of the Four Corners. It has a lot to offer, from short term to long term to even primary residence. The amenities around that area have totally come up. So anyways, it's a great place to be looking if you're trying to get in the Central Florida area. With that, we'll see you guys in a future episode.